This week, as we continue in our Rooted series, we now turn to the prophets. The words of the prophets come to the people of God all along their journey into and out of exile, as we have just read in the book of 2 Kings. And along the way, these prophets proclaim challenging messages to the people, calling out their growing unfaithfulness to God's covenant and the ways that they are failing to live into their calling to be people of blessing who bless others. And yet, even in the midst of these challenging words, the prophets also offer hope of redemption, restoration, and the ongoing mercy and faithfulness of God. This week, we are specifically looking at the prophets Amos and Hosea. They speak to the injustice, oppression, corruption, and false worship that was permeating society, and thus how the people of God have failed to be faithful to God's covenant. These prophetic books are filled with poetic language and symbolic narratives, communicating laments, judgments, exhortations, and visions, boldly identifying the people's sin and the inevitable consequences. And yet, as the title of Acts 4 reminds us, there continues to be glimmers of hope. The prophets communicate God's deep love for God's people, so great that God will not leave God's people in sin. These prophets also remind us of God's character, one that values justice, righteousness, and true worship. And in this, they continually call us back to God, reminding us that even in our sin, God always hopes for our redemption.